Konnichiwa, everybody. DF is back, and welcome to Beauties and Beasts, a podcast of all things Beauty and the Beast. Sorry for the long hiatus, but this winter has been a pain on my sinuses. But back in time for Valentine's Day. We celebrate Valentine's Day as a day of love, but sometimes I think we forget there are all kinds of love besides romantic love. Familial, platonic, and self-love, which we should all celebrate on this day. I was going to do Brother Bear next, but in the spirit of the holiday, I'm going to cover a film that encompasses all these forms of love. It only recently came out in American theaters, but has been critically acclaimed and received a 14-minute standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival. This modern, unique take on Beauty and the Beast is none other than the Japanese studio Chizu's animated feature, Belle. A story of a high school girl who becomes a singing sensation in an online virtual world, and the beastly characters she encounters there. Now, as I said, this movie was only recently released for English-speaking audiences, so you may not have seen it yet. Thus, a spoiler alert is in order. Also, this episode discusses sensitive topics such as trauma and child abuse. Listener discretion is advised. And that should be a spoiler enough already. Before we get into this, I'd like to thank my $5 plus patrons: Arvin Joshua Rocks 15, BellaPinkSavage, Cosmic Trail, Nala X Simba, and Tyrannosaurus Venom. You've all been very patient with me during the hiatus. I hope you've at least enjoyed the early access to my LGBTQ webcomic, Queer Coded, in the meantime. This is normally the part where I tell you to pledge as a patron on Podbean and buy my Redbubble merch, but I have a much more important announcement to make. After much consideration, now that I've taken on some new long-term creative projects, I've decided this will be my last year running this podcast. Yeah. It's been almost 4 years since I started this, and as I'm finding it harder and harder to narrow down on a topic each episode, I believe this podcast has about run its course. I still have a few topics I want to hit, so I will be releasing episodes weekly until I've done them all. The Patreon program will remain in effect until then, and then I will be transferring it all to Patreon. That way I can have support for all my projects in one place, not just my podcast. Current patrons, you can stick it out for as long as you want. I will not blame you if you want to cancel your Patreon pledge now, but I will let you know when the Patreon program ends on Podbean. As for the episodes, they will remain on Podbean until my membership expires in August, but will still be on YouTube, including previously published Patreon episodes. They will be released to the public once this is done. Thank you all for supporting me this long. Just know that my Redbubble shop will still be available. I've got new merch featuring characters from my Queer Coded comic on DeviantArt, including new Black Lives Matter art, as February is Black History Month. Yeah, I support my fellow blacks in America. Sue me. And now, on to today's topic. Let me know if the music's too loud. It doesn't sound too loud to me, but I hear it's been glitching out on volume recently. Suzu is a 17-year-old girl in rural Japan who is very timid and lacks confidence. When she was a child, she loved to sing, especially with her mother and her mom's choir friends. And then one day, her mother died while saving a child from a river. It traumatized Suzu so much that she was unable to sing again. And she lost touch with others, like her dad and her childhood friend, Shinobu. Then she hears of this new virtual reality platform called U, that is the capital letter U, which uses biometric scan to create a user's AS, or artificial self, to interact in this world as if really experiencing it. Pretty cool, huh? if that was too high-tech to understand, the way my mom interprets it is that the avatar is a reflection of the person's inner self. We saw the movie together with my grandma, by the way, and put it this way, we were so enraptured, we forgot to put up the leg rests in our theater seats. And my grandma actually stayed awake through the whole thing. But enough about our theater experience. The world of you is a place where one can live as another you, start a new life, and change the world. So, Chizu sees this as a chance for her to sing again, especially after seeing the success of a virtual singer named Peggy Sue. Her avatar is automatically generated into a pink-haired beauty, though she looks a lot like her classmate Ruka, who she thinks is so beautiful and so confident, everything Chizu wants to be, yet the avatar has Suzu's freckles. She names her AS Belle, because Chizu means a ringing bell in English. Also, fun fact, they mention Suzumushi, or bell crickets, later on, an East Asian insect known in Japan for their chiming song. And a line said is that only bell crickets sing in the shadows. Oh gosh, gotta love the symbolism. So, Chizu enters the virtual world of you as Belle and starts singing a song she wrote about her mother, asking why she risked her life to save a kid she didn't know and left her behind. At first, the other users don't know what to make of her, telling her to stop showing off, but they remark how pretty she is. That's the internet for you. One user in particular that looks like a little itty bitty angel says that her voice is amazing and that she's so beautiful, and becomes her first follower. Well, Belle suddenly blows up over the internet and becomes an overnight sensation. Chizu can't believe it, but her friend and producer, Hiro, says it's a good thing. But half the comments are negative, Chizu says. But the other half loves you, says Hiro. Stardom is built on mixed reception. You know, as someone who was internet famous for a time, I can concur on that. Hiro uses her computer skills to design Belle's costumes and manage her money, insisting whatever they earn be anonymously donated to charities. Oh, and the fans changed her name to Belle, as it Belle, as it seems more appropriate, because it's a French word for beautiful. Yeah, it has nothing to do with Beauty and the Beast at all. Though, as I said, not everyone's impressed with Belle, including virtual singer Peggy Sue, who is jealous of Belle's getting more attention than her. So, one day, Belle is hosting a huge online concert, which is crashed by a monstrous AS called the Dragon, being pursued by Justicers. The Justicers are the self-proclaimed protectors of you, led by Justin. Justin the Justicer, creative, right? Who is backed up by a ton of sponsors. Hiro explains the Dragon to Chizu that he's a champion from the martial arts hall, but he plays dirty, so much so that he breaks down the data, which I guess means he's a hacker. There's some details in this movie I'm not really clear about. Chizu notices the bruises on the dragon's back and wonders how he got them. The crowd boos Dragon for ruining Belle's concert and demand that he apologize. The Justicers attempt to unveil the dragon and show his origin, that is, his identity, the user behind the account. But the dragon beats them all up in epic martial arts style. Yeah, you're right, Bella. His fighting skills, though, damn. The entire internet then speculates the identity of the dragon. Hold on a second. Alright. The kids think he's a hero. The adults think he's a troll. Yeah, fair enough. Chizu is intrigued by him, wondering why he purposely angers people and why his avatar has bruises. Hiro explains his appearance must have something to do with his biometric info, and that no one can have two avatars, so that's why he can't create a new one. That's less monstrous. Chizu and Hiro then decide to join the hunt for the dragon, first interviewing the people he fought in the martial arts hall. The ones he defeated said he was ruthless and a challenge. The ones he lost to said he seemed distracted about something and ended up throwing the matches. The girls come up with likely candidates, including a reclusive artist with tattoos, a sweet housewife who posts stock photos of her fake family, and a baseball player who always wears long-sleeve shirts. The news speculate that this baseball player is secretly a violent man. He's hiding something. And then Chizu and Hiro hear speculations on the dragon's hideout, which is called the castle. Again, I'm assuming this was created through some kind of hacking. I don't really know how this world works. Belle, in a hooded cloak, searches for the castle in the world of you. A tiny Pokemon-type creature called an AI tries to lead her in the wrong direction. But the angel, who complimented Belle at the beginning, takes her down the correct path. And the castle looks eerily like the one in the Disney movie, even the interior. Just as Belle finds a rose garden, like in the original fairy tale, the dragon comes in, mad at her for entering without permission. And then the angel appears, and the beast is suddenly tender towards it. So Belle is like, which is the real you? Cut to the next day. While Chizu's sitting in on choir practice, the ladies notice her distracted gaze and say, "You're in love with a bad boy!" Because apparently middle-aged ladies have a sixth sense when it comes to romance. Then one lady reminisces on a bad boy she once knew, but saw that he was just lonely. So she cheered him up by singing a song for his birthday, and it made him so happy. The others asked if then they started going out. And she replies, "Oh no, he was still in the 8th grade. Whoa, wait a minute, what kind of relationship was this?" Seriously, what's with the Japanese and pushing age boundaries? I think they even mentioned that Hiro has an intense crush on her teacher, and then she has an after-school study session with him. What am I in here? Anyway, Chizu has to also deal with high school drama involving her childhood friend Shinobu, as if this virtual drama wasn't enough. See, he's tried to look out for her ever since her mom's death and is always asking how she is, but she constantly pushes him away. Well, some girls saw him grab her hand at school, and now rumors are floating around that they're dating. Chizu knows it's a lie and thinks Shinobu likes pretty girl Ruka, and thinks that now Ruka will be super mad at her for the rumor. Anyway, in pure war game style, Chizu and Hiro divide and conquer in dispelling the rumors, slashing through all the lies and untruths, and I seriously laughed at this scene. Oh yeah, and while talking to Shinobu, their classmate Kamishin interrupts, bragging about his kayak race. Chizu says, "Oh, that's wonderful, I'm rooting for you." And Kamishin is like, "Hey, Shinobu, if a girl is rooting for me, does that mean she has a crush on me?" And they both just stare at him. And Kamishin is like, "Whoops, sorry, my bad." Gee, that's awkward. But props to the guy for apologizing and not pressing the matter further. Why don't more guys take rejection with this kind of grace? Back at the dragon's castle, Belle discovers a smashed portrait of a woman with the rose, and she attempts once again to uncover the dragon's identity. But he yells at her to get out and leave him alone. And again, a shot pays tribute to the Disney movie. As Belle runs, or flies, as people seem to do in this game universe, she is caught by the Justicers, who serve as the wolves in this story. Justin threatens to unveil Belle if she doesn't reveal where the Beast's castle is. She refuses. But then the dragon swoops in just in time to rescue her and takes her back to the castle. Belle thanks him by singing a song she wrote just for him, taking the advice of her friend. And then the AIs, who serve as the servants, put them in dancing attire, and you guessed it, cue Disney-esque ballroom scene. And so they dance, and then they fly into the air, and she embraces him, and everything is so wonderful and at peace. And you think everything is going to be all right until the dragon suddenly convulses and screams, and Belle watches in horror as new bruises appear on his back. Back in the real world, secrets are uncovered from people suspected of being the Beast. The tattooed artist was thought to be grieving for his dead girlfriend, but was seen with a new girl so quickly, and his living ex-girlfriend comes forward, and the artist is like, "I never said I was at her grave." Okay, clearly that guy's going through some personal stuff and just wants the media butting out of it. You know, I want the media butting out of that too. And the baseball player, perceived to be a violent man, takes off his shirt to show his surgical scars and confesses that he was sick as a child but got stronger. And rather than hide it, he wants to be an inspiration to the younger kids who feel that they are weakened by illness. So it just goes to show that everyone on the internet is not who they say they are, but what they're hiding is not always a bad thing. This I understand. While it's nice to have fans, even celebrities are entitled to some privacy, you know? You don't need to know who I'm dating, you don't need to know who I'm in love with, okay? In the world of you, everyone is asking where Belle is, as she hasn't given any concerts in a while. They blame the Beast for it, because he crashed the last one. Belle tries to disguise herself, but she is caught by Justin. I mean, she's very recognizable with that pink hair, and she's one of the few humanoid avatars out there. Justin brings Belle to an interrogation room. Seriously, dude, they have like their own little spaces that they create. They serve as just profile pages. I don't get how this world works. Anyway, Justin asks her why she thinks that there are no police on the internet. People are free to do whatever they want. There is no order. So the justicers take it upon themselves to stop the villains of the internet. They're not recruited by the program creators. They're just doing this to satisfy their hero complex. You know, he's not wrong. There are lots of toxic people on the internet. They're everywhere I look nowadays. But his solution is to expose strangers without any thought of who he might be hurting. He's no better than the trolls out there. Once again, Belle refuses to rat out the dragon, and just as Justin is about to unveil the face behind the beautiful mask, the Beast's AI swoop in and save her. But Belle accidentally leaves behind a rose petal from the castle, which contains code that can lead Justin right back to its origin. Now back to the obligatory high school romantic drama. Ruka, the pretty girl, asks Chizu for relationship advice. She went up to the guy that she liked, but froze in the heat of the moment, to a point that he asked why she was staring at him and acting so creepy. Chizu is surprised that this beautiful girl she's always been jealous of struggles with confidence just like her. Chizu insists that Shinobu will have to give her another chance, but Ruka laughs that she doesn't like him, but Kamishin, the kayak boy. Chizu then opens up on how, when they were 6, Shinobu saw her crying, and all the other classmates avoided her because of her crying, but he said that he'd protect her. Chizu dismisses it as him just thinking that she was being bullied, and he was doing it out of obligation, not because he really cared. Ruka says Shinobu is kind of like Suzu's mom. Wait, what? He worries about Chizu for no reason, like a mom would. Okay. Made it sound weird for a minute there, Ruka. And then who should walk in but Kamishin? Once again, Ruka freezes. So Chizu steps in and says, "She's rooting for you." Oh, does that mean she has a crush on me? When Ruka blushes and buries her face, Kamishin is like, "Wait, really? But I was just..." and runs away. Okay, this part was seriously hilarious. After much awkwardness, Suzu finally manages to get the two lovebirds to have an actual conversation. Just as she is leaving them alone to work things out, she runs into Shinobu. She decides to finally tell him she likes him while he's on the other side of the crosswalk. Seriously, why did I always do it like on the opposite sides of the crosswalk? Just cross on over so you're not shouting your feelings to the world. But then Shinobu blurts out, "I know what you're going to tell me. You're Belle, aren't you?" Not the secret she was going to reveal, but there you go. Suzu screams that no, she's not Belle, and runs away. And then she sees on the news that the Justicers are attacking the dragon's castle, with torches, no less. Kill the beast! When she logs in to help him, and finds the dragon, he says that he just can't tell her the truth, and he runs away. And in searching for him, she is bombarded by fans. Now, this happens to me every time I go to BrodyCon. I can't get a moment's peace. Shinobu sees this happen, and he rallies Kamishin and Ruka to find Suzu. So do all the choir ladies, who apparently knew all along. And together, they try to figure out who the beast is. Suzu thinks of his eyes and how they were like a child's. Then she hears from many of the windows Hiro has open, a child's voice, singing the song that only she and the dragon know. And they zero in on the live stream from a little that is being run by a little boy in a white hoodie. At first, they think that he's the beast, until his dad comes in yelling for him to be quiet, and he's about to beat the boy, Tomo, when his 14-year-old brother, Kei, comes in and shields him. And he has the exact same eyes as the beast. And on the floor, they see a phone with a cracked screen showing a woman with a rose. Just like in the portrait, obviously his mom. And now we know how he got the bruises on his back, and why he kept freezing during his time with Belle. He was protecting his younger brother from a beating. This whole beast facade was to become a hero for his brother. Yeah, this movie got freaking serious real fast. Once the abusive father leaves, Suzu calls the boys, saying that she is Belle. But a couple others log into the stream at the same time saying, "Hey, did we just witness child abuse? Should we call the police?" And Kei says, "You gonna laugh at us too?" No, Suzu wants to help. And Kei says, "Everyone says they'll help. I'll talk to your father. I've talked to your father. Help, help, help. But help never changes anything." Suzu demands to know where he is, but he cuts the stream. Now Suzu tries to think of a way to get him to trust her, and Shinobu suggests that she sing as Suzu. "How can you get through to him," he says, "if you are not yourself?" So Belle logs back into the U. Justin charges to unveil her with his laser hand light gun, but she grabs it and shines it on herself, revealing to the world that she's just a plain, ordinary girl. And the other singer, who had been jealous of her, Peggy Sue, remarks, "She's just like me." And then Suzu sings in the most beautiful, tear-jerking scene that I've ever seen in an anime movie, calling out to the beast and voicing her own insecurities, and the crowd joins her. And in that moment, she sees flashes of her mom, finally realizing how she could risk everything for a stranger, as Suzu is doing right now. So, Belle is made anew, and Justin loses his sponsor. Serves him right. Kei and Tomo see the performance, and they restart their stream. But before they can tell where they are, the dad storms in. And having seen their video posted of his abusing them, he cuts the stream. Chizu and her friends then use the power of the internet and deduction to locate the neighborhood that the boys are in. Luckily, Kamishin recognizes the buildings in the background from where he did his race. The choir ladies call the police, but they say they can't do anything unless the child has been missing for 48 hours. Thank you, police, for being useless in this movie. So, Chizu takes it upon herself to take the train and stop the dad on her own, which isn't very smart. Why couldn't you at least take one of the ladies with you? I mean, never mind that you're a girl, but you're also a high schooler, and this is a dangerous man who's not afraid to beat up kids. Take some reinforcements. Come on. On the way, Suzu calls her dad, and they finally talk. They have a real conversation instead of just, "You hungry?" "No." And the dad says that she is a kind girl, and it's thanks to her mother. Suzu finds a neighborhood, and Tomo recognizes her and gets his brother. Them finally meeting would be very heartwarming if Dad doesn't come in with a vengeance. Suzu shields the boys and lets the dad pull at her and scratch at her until she boldly faces him with her cheek bleeding. And, intimidated, he backs down and runs away. Suzu and Kei hug. He says that she helped him learn to take a stand. And she says that he helped her to set her heart free from fear. And little Tomo says that her voice is amazing and she is beautiful. Exactly what the angel first said to her. They don't state it, but I think it's heavily implied that Tomo is the angel, which is why he led Belle to the castle and the beast was tame around him. Suzu returns, patches things up with her own father, and Shinobu says he's done being her guardian. Now they can actually hang out. And then it ends. Wait, what happened to the abusive dad? Did Suzu take legal action? What's to stop him from beating his kids again? And are Suzu and Shinobu gonna go out now? Okay, so the movie is left with a pretty open end, with many questions still unanswered. But, yeah, that's sort of like life. Not everything is resolved immediately. Also, I've seen this with a lot of Japanese anime. Lots of showing, less telling, and things aren't completely wrapped up in the end. Well, regardless, the movie is beautiful aesthetically and emotionally. I love the contrast of the traditional anime style in the real world and the CGI motion capture similar to Beastars in the virtual world. There's a lot to unpack from this story. But what I most appreciate was that although this film has the aesthetic of a romance, in the end it actually wasn't. The trailers all made us think that Shinobu was going to be the beast, but it turned out that he was a red herring. Yeah, they did a really good job hiding the truth, but left enough breadcrumbs for us to feel like, it's not this is a surprise, but it didn't come out of absolutely nowhere. We actually saw Kei and Tomo with their dad earlier in the movie. Their dad saying that his wife passed away recently, but they were still a happy family. Yet, even then, the boys looked withdrawn. And in that moment where more bruises appeared on the dragon's back, I knew that he was suffering a beating in the real world. And the beast saying, "I can endure it," implied a lot about his emotional turmoil. Now, what the film means as a whole, I'm going to break into two themes. That in our world of social media, everyone wears a mask, and that we can use the internet to hide and vent our securities. We can also find our power in it. In this film, everyone, even the minor characters, were hiding something or were not who they appeared to be. Chizu was hiding the pain of losing her mother by wearing a beautiful mask online, but in the real world, she still lacked confidence and wouldn't let anyone in, just like Kay wouldn't let anyone in either. But his mask was scarier. Rather than let anyone see any of his good qualities, he used anger to push everyone away, hiding the pain of his abuse. And he was just afraid of getting hurt again by somebody else. Like Suzu is likely afraid of getting too attached to someone and then they will leave her like her mom did in her viewpoint. In the real world, people also wear masks, from the baseball player hiding his surgical scars to Ruka wearing a mask of confidence when she's really just another girl scared to confess her feelings to her crush. Kamishin's the same, acting like an overconfident jokester, but when met with a girl who actually likes him, he falters. Even Shinobu, acting like a guardian towards Suzu, showing concern for her feelings, but not revealing his own. To drop her mask, Suzu had to reach out to someone going through similar pain. See, Kei also lost his mom, but his suffering was more physical than psychological. He lost his confidence in another way, and only when Suzu was honest with her true self was she able to get him to be honest with her. She let go of her fear to free another from his. And though Kei says that he loves Suzu, this isn't a romance. I mean, he is 14 and she's 17, so maybe not the best time for that, and Suzu still likes Shinobu, but I think Kei says that as one would say they love a friend. But no, not romantic in the end. Also, on a side note, I think this also helped Suzu patch up her relationship with her dad when she saw how another father reacted to the death of his wife. She realized she had no reason to be pushing her own father away because he did not lash out at her. He had been trying to reach out all this time and she just wouldn't let him in. And all this ties in with how people can find their own strength within. There are lots of toxic people on the internet, as I've said, who use their anonymity, who use their anonymous username to harshly judge others they've never met and vent their negative emotions by taking it out on others. This happens so often that people forget what the internet can accomplish. People can use it as an outlet for their creativity, to bring joy to others, for them to find a place for healing. And in this movie, Suzu and her friends used it to save the lives of 2 boys. Many people, young people especially, think they have no power to change the world or their own personal situations, but they do have the power. Especially with the internet that is in their generation now. Sometimes they just need another poor, self-depreciating individual to help them show it. If we show people, even strangers, a little more compassion rather than judgment, we could be helping more than hurting. Woo! That was a long one. Anyway, I definitely recommend seeing Belle in theaters if you haven't already, or if you don't want to go to theaters because it's not exactly the safest option right now. Wait till it's available on demand. Because damn, are the visuals amazing, and they actually are better on the big screen, and it's no wonder that it got a 14-minute standing ovation. So, does anybody in the chat have any questions they like? And yes, patrons, I'll still be having these private streams with you until this podcast is over. Like, I know we have Bella today, and it sounds like that you actually saw the movie. It is a really awesome movie. Like, I brought my mom and grandma because I didn't want to be in the theater pretty much alone. Not a lot of people go to the theaters these days, and oh boy, did we love it. We loved it so much. All like 3 generations. It is amazing. And BellaPinkSavage says, Kylie McNeil has the voice of an angel. Yeah, oh, okay, so I saw it in the original Japanese with the subtitles. That was the only Showtime I could get, and well, I'm sure the English dub has really nice singing too, but oh my gosh, the Japanese singer was just so operatic, and you know, I don't really mind if when I hear singing in a foreign language, because the singing's so beautiful. I didn't mind that I was reading the subtitles because the lyrics were still pretty powerful. But nice to know that the English singing was good as well. All right, and BellaPinkSavage, first Wolf Children, and now this movie. Ugh, what is it with the studio and the feels? Okay, I haven't seen Wolf Children yet. I probably should. But yeah, BellaPinkSavage. The music is just wonderful. Thumbs up. Oh yeah. Music's beautiful. Visuals are beautiful. The whole movie. I swear, if this movie doesn't win any Oscars, I'm gonna be so upset. like the best movies I've seen that came out in 2021. You know, Belle and Encanto. They better. They gotta at least be nominated for the Oscars. Now, which one's the best animated movie? That's okay. Between those two, it's gonna be a little tough. Let's admit it. 2021 had a lot of great animated movies. And BellaPinkSavage says, yes, we will flip tables. You know, give both movies something. They're both great. So, next week, I will be covering Brother Bear, as promised. Patrons, make sure you check your email so you can vote on my list of remaining topics. Before I leave, this channel is brought to you by the Gaomon Technology Corporation. Thanks to their generosity, I now use their S620 graphics tablet to design my Redbubble merch and draw my new webcomic, Queer Coded, available on DeviantArt. It's great for beginners, and it's so light you can carry it anywhere. Get your S620 graphics tablet on Amazon today. Thank you, Gaomon. Okay, until next time, remember, sometimes people use anger to mask their own insecurities, and someone who seems happy might be doing the same, and that the internet saves lives. If people didn't abuse its power, that is. Alright, sayonara!